Hello and welcome to the 5th episode of the Knattersknits podcast. I'm Natalie, also known as Knattersknits all over the internet. I'm going to be your host today, and I've got a few things to show you and a little bit of a shop update. I've now finished Yarndale and another event I was going to do, so I've got loads that I can actually put on my Etsy shop, which is also Knattersknits. So I'll do that all at the end. So how are you? How's your week been? I've had a busy week at work, extremely busy. I've been auditing finances and things like that, so it's been a hard brainwork, but we've got there and it's finally sorted, so that's a good thing. So we're starting the week afresh tomorrow, and I'm really glad about that. What else has been going on? Well, not a lot really. I've done a little bit of crafting, but not very much. Yesterday I was at a monthly craft fair over in Longridge, which is one of the local towns. I've got a slot there every month, and I sit and spin on my wheel, which is really, really nice. In just a minute I'll show you the results of that. Today's Sunday. It's the... was it the 3rd or the 4th today? 4th of October, 2015. I don't know where the year's gone so far. It seems to have really whizzed by, and because the weather's now just taken a bit of a turn here in the UK, it's a little bit colder, and just looking out the window, it's been quite misty the last couple of days. In fact, yesterday and the day before, the mist really never burnt through, and we didn't see the sunshine that was clearly somewhere on the other side of the mist. So we're beginning to think about winter and Christmassy things. Yeah, it's got that feel in the air, you know. There's a little bit of excitement about winter and, of course, knitting. So I think that's a really good place to start, isn't it? Last time I was showing you a knitted baby dress, which I finished, and I think I put the photographs on the end of the last podcast. I've still got some yarn left. This is my hand spun. Don't ask me what blend, because I've forgotten, and like a really, really good spinner, I've forgotten to label it. But I did have a bit left, so I thought I would make another one. So this week I've done this much. It's top down. The pattern is called Wee Susan, and it's free on Ravelry, and I love it. I'm just about got to the bit where you join in the round, hence the round needles. Although I do use round needles just as straights all the time, because I find them an awful lot easier than the really long things where you're having to tuck them under your arms. I don't do tucking them under my arms. We've had a discussion about this fairly recently, quite a few of the people that I've bumped into, and tucking the needles under your arms seems to have gone out of fashion a bit, which I think is really good, because ergonomically it's not good for you to be doing that. And oh no, these I find are an awful lot easier. These are my, I think they're signatures or nitpicks. Anyway, they're the standard ones I've bought. I use this. I've got the whole set, and I tend to use these as mainly as my knitting needles. So that's on the go. I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough yarn left. Yeah, it's going to be yarn chicken, but I have got another colour, so I can always put something different on the bottom of the dress. Then the other thing is, yesterday I sold one of my shawls, which was actually a sample, which was a bit of a daft thing to do, but you know, when somebody wants to buy it and they're coming up with the right amount of money, you part with it. So I cast on yesterday evening using this, which is the purple edition of my Gobstopper ball. Started off size like that, so you can see I made a reasonable amount of progress yesterday on one of my camels. Again, the pattern is on my Ravelry page. I think it's just £1.20 to buy, but it is fairly easy to engineer. So it's all garter stitch at the moment, but it will have a series of drop stitches eventually. So that's what I did yesterday evening on the virtual knit night, and that's part of the FO and Die Ravelry group. We have a virtual knit night. Do come along. Love to have new faces. It's quite strange sitting there talking to a computer and knitting and watching telly at the same time, but I really, really enjoy it. This one seems to be, for some reason, an awful lot softer than the rose-coloured one. This is called the Rose Blossom Cowl, but obviously it's not in a rose blossom colour, it's more purple actually. I'm just trying to see what's the best colour. That's about accurate, I think, there. So it is a bit on the variegated side, as you can see by the ball, but it makes for a very easy knit, and it looks quite effective once you've done the drop stitches. So that's that one. And the other thing I did was, of course, yesterday being at the fair and not having a huge amount of sales, I had plenty of time to spin. So I've done this one, which is Countess Ablaze, and it's called Pond Scum. This is the first 100 grams. This is a mixture of merino, alpaca and silk, and it is rather nice. I'm just having an eye on what to make with it, because I think this is a sort of colourway I might quite like to send to my swap partner. Not sure. I have entered into the FO and Die magic swap, which means that we've all been given a partner that we send something to, and we will also get a package in the mail, and the theme is magic. I've got a couple of little surprises that I hope my my swap partner will like, and I think that's quite a nice colour. I love all the different greens in there, the dark, and there's some black in there too, and the blues. So I might send them this one, or I might make it into something, I'm not sure. I've got another skein of it on the wheel at the moment, and I've got that to finish. Today, for the rest of the day, I'm doing Fluffy again. Fluffy is a sheep that you probably remember me talking about in the past, that I've got as a commission to spin for a local farmer because they want to make a blanket out of it. It's their favourite pet sheep. So I've spent the last few days using my drum carder and just carding and carding and carding. The sheep fleece was huge, absolutely enormous. It's probably one of the biggest fleeces I've ever seen. I've already done about 6 skeins for the lady, but I've got enough there probably to do another 10-15 skeins easily. So that's what I'm going to crack on with later on today after I had my homemade soup. I've made some leek and potato soup and some homemade bread this morning. So I'll be having that later on. And then tonight I think I might have some gammon and chips and egg and things. So that's what I'm going to be eating for the next 24 hours, as if you really wanted to know that. Right, excuse me, just have a drink out of my sheepy mug. Yeah, so the remainder of what I've got to tell you really is what's going to be going up in my Etsy shop. Now, I'm not trying to push this, and I don't expect you to go and buy it, but I just thought you might be interested to see some of the work that I actually do. So you've already seen the gobstopper. This is hand dyed and obviously hand wound, and it comes in a variety. Yes, it is that bright, that yellow, if not a little bit brighter. Yeah, that's more like it. And there's a blue colourway as well. And these are all 100% wool, and there's 200 grams in a ball. So they'll be going up in the shop later on today. And down there. Then we have, there's a good 10 of these. I've called it Shades of the Sea because it's a variegated blue. This is a 4-ply, 100% wool, and there's about 315 metres of those. So there's that one. And it also comes in this green colourway, which is called Shades of Green. Very original. Both 100 grams, both 315 metres, and it's a 4-ply. Although it does actually look a little bit bigger than that. Almost a DK. It seems to have fluffed up to when I've dried it after it's had its bath. But that's that one. The next ones are 50 grams, and these are in my cornet colourway, cornet base, which is 50 grams and there's 200 yards or 180 metres. They come in this red colourway. Now this one I can do as a solid, or I have got a very not a variegated one where it goes from top to bottom, so it gets lighter and lighter and lighter. You know what I mean. So I've got some of those. Let's see. That's not really doing it justice. It's deeper than that. Maybe about right there. So that's that one. And the pink one, which is pinks and blues and whites. This is called Sarah Likes. And then this one, which is pinks with little bits of, well, they started off as brown, but they're blacks. Variegated one of those. And there's a few of those as well. Right. Also going into the shop are some hand spun. There are 2 skeins of this one. This is 94 grams and this one is 99 grams. They're 100% wool. And this is one of Sarah's Texture Crafts colourways with the pinks and the different shades of purple. Then there's about 4 skeins of this one, which is the Grapes of Wrath. Again, hand spun. Different weights. This is 110 grams. These are 100% merino. There's another one in there somewhere. And there's this one, which is very glittery. This is 70% wool from Blueface Leicester sheep and 30% sparkle. Again, another of Sarah's Texture Crafts colourways. 95 grams. And that's really pretty. That's really soft as well. It's really nice. There's this one, which is Polworth, 50% Polworth and 50% silk. So this is very soft, very, very smooshy, and it's got quite a bit of bounce to it, as you can see. I like this one. Slightly different colourway. Again, this is very berry in Polworth and silk. Slightly different colours to the last one. This one was 150 grams, and this is Shades of Green. Again, very similar to this one, but that's mill spun, and this one is hand spun, and this one's a bit thick and thin in places. So similar colours, different spinning. There's this one, which is lovely. It's merino, alpaca and sparkle. You can see the fluff, you can just see the halo on it there from the alpaca. There's 100 grams here of hand spun, and I don't know if you can just about see the sparkle, can't you, there? And there's this one, which is baby sparkle, 75% wool and 25% silk. Just has a nice shine on it, a bit paler. Get ready for something bright. This one. This colour is called Electric Pop, and it's merino and tencel, or tencel, depending on how you say it. Love this colourway. Oh, would it go with this one? No, probably not. But it might go with a very bright pink. What's that one? This one, which is pinks, oranges and purples. This is a 2-ply. Usually when I'm doing plying, I tend to do a 3-ply, which is called Navajo plying, and I'll do a demonstration of that in another podcast. But I tend not to like doing 2-ply because I don't do it as often, and therefore it's not as pleasant to look at, I don't think. And it's just my preference, I suppose, more than anything else. I think most people tend to do 2-plies, but I don't like 2-ply very much because you get this barber poling effect, and I'm not that keen on that. I've got a couple of skeins of just ordinary undyed. This one's 75% BFL and 25% nettle or ramie. It's 100 grams. There you go, that's hand spun. And this one is a neutral, I think this is 100% wool. Again, a tiny little bit of a halo you can just see there on the light. But it is ever so soft, it's really nice. Got quite a few of this colourway. This is 100% merino. I haven't given it a name. That's a bit pink actually, it's a bit paler than that. There. This one. It's lovely colours. And this was a bat that I was given. This one is 126 metres, 137.96 yards, and the colourway is called Lightning. I can't see here at the moment. I'm really trying to read upside down. Oh, 70% wool and 30% trilobal nylon. But it doesn't feel nylon and rough. It feels really smooth and squishy. Got this one. This is called After the Storm. A little bit darker than that. That's better. This is merino and silk, and the white bits you can see are actually silk. And I have several of these. That's a lovely green. No. A lot more vibrant than that. It's not picking it up very well. That looks almost mustardy, but it is more green than that. Definitely more green, but it's not picking it up very well at all. No, it's not picking it. So I've got a couple of those. I'll show you that one. And there's this one, which is merino, corridale, alpaca, and 5-star. 5-star, sorry, not 5-star. 5-star's a spice, isn't it? What's that one? And there's this one, which is golds. It's a bit brown there, but it is more goldy in colour. And then I've got that one as well. Art yarn after this. Now that looks blue, but this is more green than blue. It's not showing up at all well. The colour is malachite sparkle. So there's a bit of sparkle in there. No, that's definitely not the right colour. It's not picking it up at all. Okay, so some art yarn. We've got this one in green. Little bits of green silk through it. This one with pink, and that is silk. All the pink is silk. And there is another one. Again, very floofy. And now, people quite often say to me, what would you do just with one skein of yarn like this? Well, you could keep it as a yarn pet. Always an option, a yarn pet. You could use it as an alternating feature if you're just going to do a jumper that was a plain one and then put the occasional row of this in. You could make it a feature in a hat. Actually, there's probably enough to make a hat here anyway. There's all sorts of different things that you could do. Highlight accents. That one there. As I said, all these will be going up in my Etsy shop later. And last one is one with alpaca. And this is, I think this is 100% alpaca. There we go. There's a little bit of sparkle in that, isn't there? And I don't know where it's picked that up from. I don't know if it's in with the spinning or whether it's just picked it up. There's a little bit of purple sparkle which doesn't really go. That's probably because it's lived in a box with other yarns. So, that's just a little bit of my hand spun that's going to go up. It's going to take me a while to photograph, so I can't promise exactly when it's all going to go up on my Etsy shop, but it will be up there fairly soon. So that's about it from me this week, really. It's been a very, very quiet week. What I'm going to be doing next week, well, starting at midnight tonight, and that's midnight my time, and everywhere else in the world it's midnight at their time, whoever might be doing this. I can't remember if I've told you, but I'm taking part in something called Spinzilla. So I'm going to be spinning like a mad thing, trying to get the yardage done for the Needle Arts Association of the United States of America. It's an international challenge where we all try to spin as much as we can, hence doing all the fluffy preparation today, so that I have enough fibre to do. And it seemed like a really good way of trying to crack through the mass that is fluffy still. So I'm going to be doing that for the next week, so I don't think there'll be an awful lot of knitting going on, although I may find that I need a break occasionally. But with working full time, I think it's going to have to be just spinning this next week. So we'll see what we see. Other things on my mind at the moment, I'm trying to think about knitting for Christmas, and obviously I don't want to say too much, just in case any of the family are watching the podcast. But I'm going to be doing, I've got something that I want to make for my son-in-law. My daughter, well, she'll just go dibs on everything I make, so that doesn't matter. And the other daughter, well, she seems to like what I send her, so that's okay. I think my son's probably after another sockhead hat because he really likes those. And my husband's still waiting for that really foul acrylic jumper that I told you I was making. And he'll be waiting a bit longer because I'm not touching it at the moment. I'm not in the mood. So other than that, there's not an awful lot to tell you. Sorry, it's quite a boring episode really. Not a huge amount going on other than the anticipated Spinzilla. Thank you very much to the people who told me that last episode was back to front. I'm not really sure why, and I will get to grips with the technology eventually. So thank you very much for telling me about that. Marnie, just in case you're wondering where your yarn's got to for the prize, that is on its way. I posted it yesterday, so it is now heading its way over to Canada, to British Columbia, so thank you very much for that. And oh yes, a prize draw. I did say last episode I'd be telling you about another one. Well, what I'm going to do is start a members thread in the Knattersknits podcast. Well, it's not a podcast group, it's the Knattersknits group full stop. So I'm going to be starting up a thread for that. And when we get to 100 members, I will do a drawing for some more handspun. At the moment it's only handspun because that's what I'm making. If anybody else would like me to review any of their bags or to review books or anything, then we will give those away as prizes as well. So I hope you have a great week. I'm going to be trying to catch up with podcasts as I do my spinning for Spinzilla. Hopefully by this time next week I will be on the final stretch and be able to show you some of the yarn that I've actually spun. And I hope you have a lovely week. Take care, everybody. Lovely to see you all again. Thanks for popping by, and I shall see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.